Hey, friends and family. Hey, loved ones. Hey, fools. Hey, gardeners, magicians, artists, and alchemists. Happy day today, wherever you are, in every single way. How you doing today? What's a play? Just wanted to talk about art, play, and creativity and how it can open up so many things for us. I got to host a little art therapy class on Monday, and that was super fun for me. And what I got to do was put some images on my door on Sunday for my circle, but I kept the same images there and just replaced certain note cards. And what I wrote on my little note cards was, art is a healing modality. Life is the art of living. We are the artists of our lives, and the art of our lives are for living. Art, play, and creativity are three core essentials for well-being. Many studies show the many benefits of art, play, and creativity that contribute to our health, assisting us with stress management, problem solving, mental and emotional health, and psychosocial development and learning. Art and creative play can help us rewire our brain, expand our vision and mental capacity to see life and ourselves through wider and fuller perspectives, and alleviate burdens associated with chronic disease by reducing feelings of depression, anxiety, and isolation. Creative expression and engagement through play has the potential to be used in a large variety of ways to heal emotional injuries, increase understanding of oneself and others, develop our capacity for self-reflection, reduce symptoms of stress and anxiety, and alter behaviors and thinking patterns. Improving focus on positive life experiences, increase self-worth and positive identity affirmation, overall well-being, and quality of life. And that is super true. And I can attest, to the magical modalities, of art therapy. There's so many forms of art and so many forms of life, so many life forms and so many art forms. And that's part of who we are. So we are, the garden, and we are the gardeners. We are the art, and we are the artists. We are the creators, and we are the created. We are what's being created as we create. Abracadabra, I create as I speak. The power of the word. So may we use that power of the word with integrity and impeccability for truth and for inspiring and uplifting and blessing others, blessing ourselves and others, being responsible with the power that we do have to create with our word, with the true power of our word and our true voices. And so a lot of the time we have been encouraged to lie to ourselves and to deceive ourselves. And so we've gotten so good at it, we don't even realize when we are lying to ourselves in a lot of ways. As we're turned upside down. Things have been reversed. And so, how do we turn that around? How do we turn all of that around? Well, it's different for everyone, I think. But we all have the answers that we need. We all have them inside of we. They are always available and accessible if we're willing to receive. So what else wants to be shared today about art, play, and creativity and healing and honoring our voices and the power that we have to create, honoring the power of our word, honoring our currency and honoring our worth, honoring our lives, honoring our bodies, honoring our energy, the creative energy that we have to work with, to play with, to be sustained with. Life affirming, life sustaining, life perpetuating, life existing, and self-realizing energy, regenerating. All this love and creativity through our hearts and the divine mind. through the purified mind and the free heart. Let's just start where we are. Here we are, as we are, for all we are, through all we are, through being and becoming all the love we are. Loving who we are, being true to who we are, being as we are, allowing who we are, embodying who we are, expressing who we are, loving who we are, knowing who we are, freeing all we are, honoring all we are, seeing all we are, and being all we are. So a couple of times I have mentioned this article that I read on energeticsynthesis.com by Lisa Renee and the God Sovereign Free Behavior. And so there are a lot of distortions right now, and we're not seeing things as they are. We're not seeing we as we are, and we're not seeing life as she is, and we're not seeing reality quite as it is. But we all have like little different versions of our own realities, and there's a consensual reality, I would say. But there are all of these false artificial realities like happening simultaneously. And it is interesting, I think, that number 7 on here is reality assessment. And so, I'm going to look into that one a little bit more and, do some homework and see what I can discover and explore about that one. But I do want to go into some of these GSF behaviors, God sovereign behavior, or what I like is God source frequency. When we're tapped into our own source and our own frequency, it's natural. It comes naturally. So empathy and compassion. We feel connection to life and have compassion for others that feel pain because we can empathize with them and relate to sensory feelings and emotions. We care about what happens to life, whether it's earth, human beings, animals, nature, plants, or trees. We realize that we are a part of something much larger and have kindness for ourselves and others. As this end cycle of planetary ascension is very challenging for many, with this compassionate understanding, we do not allow intentional harm or self-martyrdom in our sphere of influence. Mental openness. We are able to consider and be open to many different ways of being, thinking, or life philosophy without feeling threatened, defensive, or sarcastic. This is a state of non-judgment. Discoveries and new learning opportunities are valued as desirable and supported in others. Mental flexibility for greater intelligence and creative problem solving is available for the mutual beneficial exchanging of ideas. Mental openness allows intuitive development and higher sensory perception. Emotional stability. We accept emotional states as impermanent, and like a beautiful painting, we can choose and accept emotions as a wide spectrum of color. In pain or joy, we can apply learning and appreciate that we have feelings, senses, and wide emotional spectrums. When feeling pain or disappointment, we have no need to lash out and harm others. We know that our emotional state is our responsibility. We are aware to allow feeling emotion without over-identifying with that state. So we are aware to allow feeling emotion without over-identifying with that state to points of overwhelm. Through emotional balance and soul healing, we do not allow any influential substances, i.e. drug, food, sex, shopping, to overtake us or to keep us dependent through emotional addiction. Responsibility. We are accountable to our actions and accept responsibility for our words, commitments, and energies. We are realistic and dependable, only committing to that which we are capable and are genuinely sincere. We are aware of how our language and behavior impact others, the environment, and act humbly. We are conscientious in everything that has our energy stamp and recognize value to create quality in our life and with exchanges. Quality is a byproduct of energetic responsibility. Honesty. The ability to be honest with oneself, honest in the assessment of others, honest in the circumstances of reality through a commitment to emotional clarity, stating and representing the true conditions of circumstances as neutrally and harmlessly as possible. We know that honesty is always the true pathway in our relationship with God that leads us towards spiritual maturity and freedom. We do our best to say what we mean and mean what we say. That's impeccability. Reality assessment, to be able to assess the current environment and conditions realistically and truthfully in order to make informed choices without needing to control the outcome or engage in power conflicts. To discern conditions based on internal resonance and not on external judgments or mass acceptance. In the spiritual context, to read the energy signature in order to integrate its intelligent information with the external circumstances in so that an informed decision can be made. Cooperation, and this one's been coming up for me a lot this week. Cooperation. Recognizing the interdependence between all living things with the desire to engender cooperation between groups and all living systems. Cooperation is valued in order to unify the whole in energetically beneficial exchanges for creating holistic systems. Cooperation becomes the natural behavior to align groups synchronistically in a naturally self-organizing system arranged upon a core spiritual mission or humanitarian philosophy. Unified cooperation is only successful in environments of honesty, transparency, and where self-interest is sublimated to the caring of the larger group interest. In commitment to heart-based transparency and non-judgment, group trust can be formed and bonded. Understanding the opposition strategy. Archontic deception strategy, or AD strategy, for increasing AD behaviors. So, archontic deception strategy. Now, there is a little bit above at the beginning of the article about that. So to understand the polarity in the world of forces on the earth and identify how satanic force methods are used every day to destroy the feeling heart and soul of human beings, let's review both sides of spiritually healthy behaviors, which is GSF behaviors, and spiritually abusive behaviors, which are AD behaviors. So, spiritually healthy behaviors naturally connect one with God, Source, and Christ, and are God, Sovereign, Free, or GSF behaviors, based upon the law of one. Spirituality or spiritually abusive behaviors disconnect you from God and Christ and are promoted in the archontic deception behavior, or AD behaviors. And that is domination and control and manipulation. So, let's take a good assessment and start to look at some of these things. So some AD behaviors are, many of these harmful patterns can be observed in the mainstream media narratives, which are subconsciously grooming the masses. Number 1, disassociation and narcissism. 2, mental rigidity. 3, emotional fracturing. 4, carelessness. 5, deceitfulness. 6, dependence or codependence. 7, false reality delusions. And 8, divided competition. And so, understanding the opposition strategy. Archontic deception strategy, or AD strategy, for increasing those AD behaviors. Now that we have generated core behavioral markers to define and identify AD behavior and their antidote, which is GSF behavior, we can study them. This is required and so that we can learn how these behaviors are desired and cultivated as environmental influences that will enforce these AD value systems, which are designed to perpetuate the ideology of which all AD systems operate. That's their inverted systems that we've been operating from, fear-based and trauma-based operating systems that fragment the whole and that dishonor, all life through domination and control, through this false light. So it is important to be aware to identify these behavioral markers when we are exposed to them, and so that we can remain informed about how we choose to interact and protect ourselves from spiritually abusive behaviors. These AD behavioral markers are used to hijack and usurp good-hearted people and their organizations that may start out with humanitarian intentions. If the organizational leaders are not strong enough to have clarity about the negative alien agenda, the negative ego, and AD behaviors, and they are infected with AD behaviors, their positive organizational objective will collapse. The top controller organizational structures at all levels in society are generating AD systems that will develop or perpetuate these spiritually unhealthy behavioral qualities throughout humanity. We are so conditioned to believe the facades and the mind programming that we are generally desensitized to recognize these AD behaviors when they are operating right in front of us. It is time to see these AD behaviors in action through impulsively carrying out negative ego patterns and imposter spirit deceptions as the first step in the transformation and purging of these spiritually abusive behaviors. So, it is time to see these behaviors in action through the impulsively carrying out negative ego patterns. So that's part of our shadow work, to be able to identify and recognize those behaviors within ourselves and those that we're in relationship with. And so learn to recognize what you are exactly looking at and trust inner feelings. Do not run away from it in fear. Question it, call it out for what it is, non-judgmentally, and change it internally to the GSF behavior. Kindness above all. It is very clear to most of us that we are a part of something humongous happening on planet Earth. The ascension impacts everyone and has personal implications that hold different meanings that are very intimate to each person. Connecting with your soul, connecting with God Source is very personal. As a part of the human race, we all know what it means to suffer horribly in pain and feel completely alone in the darkness. As we endure the challenges of the ascension cycle, remember it is about kindness above all. Honor where you are at right now and take the time you need, allowing yourself the space to heal and find the kindness for yourself. Find kindness for yourself that you really need. Offer that to yourself and receive that for yourself and be that for yourself. Choose that for yourself. Free that for yourself. As you strengthen your core and you can expand your sphere of influence, then practice random acts of kindness towards others. 1 second of criticism, sarcasm, belittling, or hateful words can mar and scar a child and an adult person for life. 1 second of kindness can elevate a child or any person to accomplish greatness that allows them to find their soul. The soul is kind and loving, and God is kind and loving. World Humanism. Humanism is a philosophical and ethical stance that emphasizes the value and capacity of human beings to be able to act independently and to feel benevolence towards one fellow humans through practicing humanitarian values imparted by humane learning and in our interpretation, consciousness development. Humanism is based in the re-education of human value, which emphasizes the importance of shifting anti-human ideological beliefs into humanist-based ethics and related philosophical and egalitarian principles. All human beings deserve humane treatment in order to live upon the planet with dignity through having basic access to supply fundamental human needs. Our goal is to apply humanistic ethical philosophy blended with the spiritual egalitarian principles of the law of one to expand consciousness, which inspires direct knowledge or gnosis of direct consciousness experiences. Mainstream humanism defines itself distinctly as the disconnection of the human being from its inherent spiritual energetic intelligence or soul in an attempt to remove the concept of humanism away from the learned bias and practices of religion. There is no way to separate humanity from its soul and practice humanism. Once direct knowledge of the soul is known as a reality, this fact is experienced without need to control religious bias, nor conform to religious rhetoric or scientific judgments. Ascension essentially encompasses a universal perspective toward the compassionate practice of world humanism and includes the entire spectrum of life, and includes all inhabitants of the world, no matter what race, religion, belief, or creed, to be equally deserving of benevolence and compassion. Today's reflection: no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt. That's an interesting thing because it's all about consent as well. And right now, there are agendas and interference patterns at play to deceive, to coerce, and to shame us into consenting to to something that we do not need. We have the right to say no. No means no. We have the right to choose what goes in our bodies. We have the right to choose how we want to live our lives and how we live them. We have the right to informed consent. We have the right to live free and sovereign. We have our own right to be self-sustaining, self-perpetuating, self-existing. Free, sovereign beings. Yes. And so I am going to look into these things for myself and see how I can integrate some of these behaviors and nurture and cultivate them within my life. Keep nurturing and nourishing and contributing to what I want to see in the world. And that's a better world for all, not just a better world for some. And that is like freedom for all. Because love is free. And love is free to be. Love is free to be received. And love is free to be. And so any other external voices or any noise out there that's telling us otherwise, we should really ask and question and start to look and see if that is in alignment and if that is in harmony with respecting and honoring the whole and respecting each other's journey and all of our right to choose for ourselves what's right and good and true for us. No one else has the right to tell us how we need to live our lives and what we need to choose. We all have the answers inside of us. So you can find out for that. You can find that out for yourself too. And so I just want to send out love and blessings and gratitude to all of you, to everyone, to life, and to love, and to all that's true, to all the good, true, full, whole things that I love, that support my life, that I get to show up for, that I get to work with, that I get to play with, that I get to grow through, that I get to work with, and all that it contributes to my life and to all life, to the gift of life that we do have and that we hold and that we share and that we can choose for ourselves and we can receive for ourselves. So it's up to us. We can agree to what feels right for us. We don't have to agree to what's not true for us. We have the power and we can claim it for ourselves. We can understand and we can see where we've given our power away and we can reclaim it for ourselves. So may we all be well. May we all feel peace. May we all feel held. May we all find the clarity that we need. May we all open up our minds and be open to receive what we really need to see. May we find the courage and the strength to endure through these hard times. And remember that it is all about life. It's all about living our lives and honoring this life that we have to live. Honoring the life that we have to live so that life can give and life can live. And life can regenerate. And be the gift. Yeah. So be the gift and feel the shift and be with all of this. It's just like an interesting time to navigate these changes. So Tell me how you guys are all doing. Let me know what's happening. What kind of things are coming up for you? What is being revealed to you? Yeah. Love you all. Take good care of yourselves. Be love for yourselves and be well. Bye for now.